alaikum, unshakable Muslims. Let me ask you something. If this is not your first card, then aren't you already feeling more unshakable? Feeling something different inside you? I know you are. Feel it. Enjoy it. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it. And if it's your first card, then you know amazing things are in store for you. Unshakability is in store for you. Okay, so today you have unlocked Abdullah Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. He was the son of, can you guess it? I think you can. Umar radiallahu anhu. Ibn Umar, right? Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu's son, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar was a little boy growing up with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he migrated to Medina. He wanted to really participate in the battle of Badr. But he was a little boy. So he got there eagerly. Ya Rasulullah, I want to participate in the battle. But he was turned down. You are too young. Have you ever heard that? In fact, there were a couple of other boys with him who had this can-do attitude. They weren't like, oh, our dads are fighting. It's really sad. I hope they win. Oh, but what can I do? Maybe when I grow up, I'll do something. No. They had the can-do attitude. So they went to their dads like, we want to participate too. But they were told, no, you are too young. So disappointed, they came back. But they knew that they really wanted to. So they were turned down that you are not ready, you are not strong enough. So they practiced, they started practicing, they started growing. And the next year there was Battle of Uhud. And they're like, we want to participate now. But they were still too young, right? They were like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. So they're like, no, you are still too young. So these boys decided to dedicate themselves into doing what they can do for the ummah at this age instead of wasting themselves away, thinking maybe when I'm older I will do something for the ummah. No, right now what I can do. So Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu dedicated himself to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every single sunnah he would follow. He sees Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing something, immediately he would bring it in his own actions. He sees Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam praying in a place, he would go pray there. If he sees Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sitting down and making dua in a place, he would go and sit in the same place and make dua. If he sees Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam standing in a place and making dua, he would stand there and make dua. One day, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to a place and his camel, for some reason his camel just took a round around it. So, just random. And so Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu saw it. Next time he went there, he got his camel to forcefully, you need to take a round here. This is not like, it's not like an act of worship or anything. The camel, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam camel had just taken a round like that. But he wanted to copy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in everything. So even in that, he got his camel to take a round. He was one of the greatest followers of the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, it is said that he is the one who was most like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his characteristics, in the actions that he was doing. He was nicknamed the good one, the son of the good one. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu also had another nickname, and that was the brother of the night. One day, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, what an excellent boy he is. Should he pray at night, he would be even more blessed. Right? He got to know about this. And after that day, every single night, he never missed tahajjud. Every night, he would wake up before Fajr and pray tahajjud. A lot of the night, he would instead of sleeping, he would spend in praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How amazing. As a kid at 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, he started gathering so much knowledge. He had more knowledge than even adults. Alhamdulillah. So by the time he's, an older teenager, he has massive amounts of knowledge. But he was very careful with that knowledge. Sometimes, even if somebody came and asked him about something, that, do you know about this? What are we supposed to do? Did Prophet Muhammad say something about this? Even though he knew it, but if he wasn't 100% sure, he will not answer. He'd say, I don't know. Right? Because maybe he had doubt about like one tiny little bit doubt. Like, no, I don't know. Once somebody came and asked him about something and he wasn't 100% sure about it, he said, I don't know. And then that meant started walking away. Abdullah Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu was so happy with himself that he said, I don't know, instead of like blurping out whatever he thinks, that he started clapping for himself. Like, alhamdulillah, I said, I don't know. He was very careful that he knows before he shares something, he's absolutely sure about it. Because he was really scared that he will share something which is not true and then he will be responsible for it. This is something we all have to be very careful about. If I stand here right now and teach you something which is I'm not sure about, maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, right? If I stand here and teach you something which is not true, and I say this is true, then I will be responsible for it. That if you end up doing something wrong because of it, I will be responsible for it. So we got to be very, very careful. We cannot lie about our deen. It's a big sin. Especially in our time. We can easily go, and there are millions of websites today where hadiths are listed, information about Islam is listed. But is it always true? You gotta be careful. Because there are even websites today that are made by non-Muslims who pretend to be Muslims, and they give out fake information about Islam, fake hadith, or put them in the wrong way, put the ayats of the Quran in the wrong way. Be very, very careful. Gotta check with your parents. Is this website correct, mom? Is it verified? Maybe if it's a hadith, you look it up in a couple of places. Is this hadith really correct? Sunnah.com is a very good website. You can go check hadiths there. Is it listed? You can even search it on it. Sometimes you will hear things from your classmates. They will tell you, you know what I heard? If you do this and this happens. Right? And it might be something they have heard from their culture, their parents, or just some random people. Be careful, because it's not always going to be true. So you hear it, you come and check with your parents. I heard this about the hadith. I heard this about Islam. Is it true? Is this how it is? And then your parents can go, maybe they know, maybe they don't know. They will go and check it. They will help you check it. Once you check it, then you can start applying it in your life. But be careful when you learn these things from your classmates. Right? Now, Abdullah Ibn Umar was also very, very rich. He was a brilliant businessman. Very good businessman. He would make trades and make lots of good money. One day, Abdullah Ibn Umar made an amazing business deal. He made like 4,000 dirham, which is like $4 million. But in the evening, a companion saw him. But in the evening, somebody saw him in the market. He was buying food for his camel, but he didn't have money to buy it. He was saying, I owe you, I'll pay you later. So somebody saw him. They were like, didn't he make a deal today of like $1 million? Like, what happened? And so he was informed. He gave it all in charity. He gave it all in charity. He made all that money in the morning. By evening, he had given it all up. Alhamdulillah. So generous. He wasn't a slave to money. He was the master of his money. He wasn't working so he can make money and so he can make more money and more money and more. No. He was making money and spreading it. Like, he's not scared. Allah will give me more. And Allah would give him more. So he is easily giving it away. One day, a friend of his came to visit him, and he said to him, Abdullah, I have got this beautiful cloth for you. He touched it. He's like, is it silk? And he said, no, it's not silk. It's cotton, but it's soft like it, right? It's great. He's like, wow, Abdullah really enjoyed that. Like, this is really good material. Like, alhamdulillah, this is really nice. He said, you can keep it. And he thought about it like, yeah, it's really nice. Maybe he was tempted to keep it. He's like, no. It's halal. It's like, no, I don't want it. I'm afraid that it will make me arrogant. He is a rich person. He could wear a cloth like this all the time. But he's like, no, I don't want it. I feel like this will make me arrogant. Then this companion was so surprised. He looked around his home and he said, I looked around his home and I estimated that everything in his home, all of it together, maybe wasn't even like $100, like 100 dirhams. That's it. Even though he is like a millionaire. Because he wasn't a slave to his money, wanting more and more things. He had money, alhamdulillah, and he would use it to help others, to help the deen of Allah, to help his family when they need it, right? And he doesn't need to go and beg people for money, but he's not going to waste money on things that are temporary just like that. He said, no, I'm afraid it will make me like boastful, like I will start showing off or become arrogant. It's halal. He can have it. But he's afraid of how it might affect his heart and his actions. So he's protecting himself from it. Think about it. When we want to buy like the best shoes, most expensive one, the branded stuff, why are we doing that? Why do we need like the branded, the coolest things? Is it just because it's nice? Or is it because we want to show others I also have these cool shoes and boast to them? Is that the right way to spend your parents' or your hard-earned money instead of using it to help others? Ask yourself, is that the kind of person you want to be? Or do you want to be like Abdullah Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, who wasn't a slave to his desires, who wasn't a slave to his money? People become a slave to their money because they make money, they go buy stuff, and they're like, oh, now I run out of money. Now I need more money. And so they're just like chasing. Money is making them work all day, do all things all day, and they will never have enough. You want to become a master of, you want to become a slave to your money. You want to become a master of your money. You become a master of your money when you don't just go about buying everything that you like. You're like, no, I'm going to control my desires. I'm not going to be a slave to my desires. I'm not going to be a slave to this money. I'm going to be its master and spend it where I want to spend it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that benefits me in long term, not just a little bit of happiness right now. Now, this is hard to do, and it doesn't mean it's haram to go buy nice things. You can, but the more you can control yourself and be careful of how and make a decision, not just, I feel like buying it, so let me go and buy it and make wine and cry for my parents. Buy me this. No, right? Be careful. Where do you want to spend your money? Where do you want to spend your parents' money? Be smart about it. Don't become a slave to your desires. Don't you want to be just like him? I know there are things that maybe adults tell you right now you can't do. You're not ready because you aren't. But there are thousands of other things you can do right now for your deen. Are you? Are you doing them? Are you looking for opportunities to do more for your deen? Raise your standard. See you next time. Or are you waiting till you grow up? Because Abdullah Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu didn't. He started when he was little. I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.